Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 30th of December 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, also just a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos. And of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we update on a daily basis. So I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here for yourself. So feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right here. But right now, let's jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the DAX. So I've talked about this, the German index this morning, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this 13,249.50 territory. So basically what I was saying, that if we do get a drop below this, then there could be a possibility for a deeper correction here. And the reason why I'm saying correction, because we are still trading above this upside support line taken from the lowest point of August. Now, again, this move lower could be a temporary one, especially if it continues to trade, if this upside line continues to hold, and this 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart also continues to hold. So for now, guys, everything's kind of leaning more towards the downside a little bit, but again, let's not get ahead of ourselves too much. First, as I've mentioned this morning, let's wait for the drop below the 13,249 zone and below this 50 EMA here shown as the red line, and only then we will target these levels right here near the 13,140 or the 13,105 zone. So marked by the low of the 19th and the 12th of December respectively. So of course, if these fail, then yep, further declines are possible, but for now let's keep it short and simple. All eyes are on the 13,249 zone. If we do get a nice drop below this, then yes, further declines are possible. With the upside, we'll take a very conservative approach and wait for a push above the 13,426, which is the current highest point of December, and only then target the upside. So let's keep an eye on this one. Now, Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now, the index, and I talked about this one last week. Basically, the index continues to balance above this short-term, very short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 3rd of December. Now, looking at the cash index right now, it is kind of still balancing on the line, but to be honest, this is very close, and in a way, we're also kind of looking here, or should I say, maybe hoping for a bit of a correction here, because the index is quite overstretched already. So in a way, maybe a bit of correction could be possible. So in a way, even if it drops below this this upside line here, yes, we will aim for these lower levels, but initially what we're going to do here is we're going to target the 21 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and then we'll see how it performs around here. If it holds, we could see something similar like here, like we had in the beginning of December, where the price rebounded, well, actually violated the 21 EMA, but quickly kind of got back above it and pushed higher. So that's why even if we see a drop below this upside line, then yes, there is a possibility for a further decline here, maybe a move towards this little territory right here. Let me just put this one on the chart. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There we go. So this level right here near the 28,445 zone. Now, if that gets broken, now this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for the sellers, and we could start aiming for slightly lower levels. But for now, guys, again, as I said, be very careful. This market is an interesting one. We are at the end of the year, and let's try to be very careful with that, because in a way, for now, it seems that it's one-way traffic. But the only thing is, with the upside, we will consider the upside if we get a push above the 28,702 territory, which is the current all-time high here on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So let's see if it can push further north. But again, like I said, we'll wait for that push above this level first before examining a potential move higher. But like I said, also keep your eyes on this upside line. The way you could play this one out right now is probably you could keep an eye on some of these key support and resistance levels. So one of the levels to watch probably could be around this. Of course, this is from a very short-term perspective. So a drop below the 28,575 zone, this could in a way lead the index a little bit lower here towards this level that I talked about, the 28,445. But this is the breakout. This is the level that we need in order to consider slightly deeper declines here. So that's why, guys, for now we'll be very careful with this one. Silver, I talked about gold this morning, and basically a slightly similar scenario here, or should I say almost the same scenario. Yes, we did have a nice push higher. The precious metal managed to reach the area near the 18.05 territory, from which it kind of reversed back down, drifted lower, tested the 21 EMA on the 4-hour chart. You can see that perfectly, and now it's kind of retracing back to the upside. So basically, in a way, we got our little retracement already. Now, how we could play this one out is, of course, and let me redraw this one, probably we'll take a very cautious and very safe approach here and wait for a push above this level right here, the 1805, because if we do get a break above this level, then yes, this would confirm a forthcoming higher high. We could then target the area like the 18.22 zone, marked near the high of the 4th of November, or in a way we could aim for the 18.33 territory, which is roughly around the high of the 25th of October. So that's why, guys, for now, yes, it is looking quite bullish, but don't forget that we are quite extended here to the upside. So in a way, what we could do here is just, like I said, keep an eye on some of the key support and resistance levels, and in terms of the downside, this is the level to watch, the 17.66, or in a way you could start looking at the slightly lower levels a little bit earlier if we get a drop below the 17.72 mark, which is the low of the low of Friday. So that's why, guys, for now, be very careful. If we do get a drop below the 17.72, then yes, this places the rate already below the 21 EMA. But again, probably we would prefer to see a drop below the 17.66 level first before kind of considering some moves lower, at least in the short run, because a nice good area of support could be seen around here near the 17.30 zone, and this is where probably by the time the rate could, or the price could travel lower, it could end up testing the 200 EMA, and of course as well this little short-term, maybe tentative upside support line right here, drawn from the lows of December, so basically the lowest point of December. So that's why, guys, for now this is the downside scenario, but the downside could be limited near this little territory near the 17.30 zone, but we'll consider the downside only if we see a drop below this initially the 17.72, and then just for that extra confirmation, a drop below the 17.66 level. That's where we're gonna consider a move lower here, but also for now be very careful with there could be still some more upside left, especially given that these two levels are looking quite attractive here near the 18.22 and near the 18.33 mark. USDCHF, now looking at this picture here, this has been on a nice decline here, and of course after reversing nicely to the downside in the end of November, the pair drifted sharply to the downside, then recovered somewhat, and then started gradually moving lower, trading below this little kind of tentative downside resistance line taken from the high of the 6th of December. But around the 26th of around the 27th of December, the pair sold off heavily and drifted below the this barrier, this support level which was previously the lowest point of December, and this was near the 0.9764, and you can see that the pair continues to slide and continues to create a new low for December. So this is the big question: is this enough for USD CHF bears, or actually will they decide to push further south, especially tomorrow, given that it's the last trading day for December for 2019. So for now, the low where the pair found support is near the 0.9695 zone. So basically around this 97 level. So in a way, given the overstretched to the downside scenario here on the shorter time frame, then well, there could be a possibility for a correction. So maybe a bit of correction could come in tomorrow. But looking at this picture here, guys, and you can see that it is kind of not far from the lows that we saw here back in August, and one of the important ones to watch is around the near 0.9679 level, or if you want to take this little spike here near the 0.9650, you could in a way monitor that one as well. And or actually let me just level here, not very accurate. So that's roughly around the 0.9654-55 zone. So, but again, probably initially the important one to watch is around the 0.9679 level, and that's basically near the lows of August of this year. Now, like I said, it could be quite interesting to see if the pair can drift further south and test this territory, this way creating a new low for December. But don't get me wrong, on the shorter time frame, we are quite overstretched to the downside, so a bit of correction could be possible as well. And the way you could play this one out is keep your eyes on this little territory right here near the 0.9713 level. If we get a push above this, then there is a possibility to see this one climbing back up, maybe for a small correction higher. But again, keep your eyes on the 21 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, which in a way could provide that additional resistance here. So so that's why, guys, for now, be very careful with this one. Keep your eyes on some of these levels that I just mentioned, and let's see how this is going to play out. GBPCAD now. GBPCAD, haven't looked at this one for quite a while, but to be honest, it's quite interesting. And overall, we are still kind of trading above this, and let me just quickly draw this line, trading above this medium term, or actually it's well, actually yes, it is a medium term upside support line, a bit of a tentative one, but nevertheless we'll keep an eye on it. Now, you can see that the pair is kind of flirting with the 200 EMA here, together with the 100 EMA, all on the 4-hour chart. So for now, it's a very tricky one, because in a way, yes, there is still some room for the downside here if the pair wants to drift lower and test this upside line. But if it decided that that's enough for the downside, and it found good support near here, near the 1.6980 zone, now this could, of course, drift a little bit higher. The only thing is for us to consider maybe some higher levels. Well, ideally, we would like to see maybe a push above this little target here near the 1.7228 mark, and only then aim for a slight move higher again. So that's why, guys, for now we'll remain neutral. With the downside, this is the level still. I do understand that we're missing out on a bit of a move here, but this is the area where to get a little bit more comfortable with slightly lower levels, the 1.6980. For those who are more on the riskier side, you could in a way monitor this little level near the 1.7070. A drop below this could lead towards this little level here for a test of the 1.6980. But again, this little territory here still could be under risk, and under a lot of risk, and for a potential reversal back to the upside. So that's why, guys, if you are looking at maybe entering a short here, then have at least a very tight stop loss, just in case this suddenly reverses and pushes back to the upside. And as I said, with the upside, we need to see a push above the 1.7228 level before we could aim for higher levels. EURGBP. Now then, with this pair, so after finding good support near the 0.8277 level, the pair drifted higher and is now kind of balancing near all of its EMAs here on the 4-hour chart, near the 21, near the 50, near the 100, and near the 200 EMAs, as I said, on the 4-hour chart. So for now, we'll remain neutral and keep our eyes on some key support and resistance levels. Now, in terms of the downside, now you could in a way keep your eyes on this little level here near the 0.8508 level. A drop below this could in a way lead the pair a little bit lower, but the only problem here is this little area of support here where the pair recently found was held and kind of from which it reversed and pushed higher again. So even if we see a drop below the 0.8508 level, yes, this places the rate below the 100 EMA on the 4-hour chart. It increases the chances of a further drift lower here towards the 0.8475 zone, but again, it could get a hold up here unless it starts breaking this level as well, because if it does, then yes, this is where it could become a little bit more exciting for more sellers. But for now, we'll be very careful with this one. With the upside now, again, if we ignore this little spike higher that we had here, and now some charts do have it, some don't, so check your own. But what we could do here and how we could play this one out is, of course, if we're gonna keep an eye on some of these resistance levels here. Though now the first one that we're gonna be monitoring here is the 0.8557 mark, and that's basically the high of today. And if we do get a push above this, then yes, in a way it increases the chances of a possible move higher here. So that's why, guys, be very careful here. For now, everything is kind of leaning more towards the downside, but of course the downside could be limited near these two levels. So these are quite strong areas of support, so let's see if the pair can overcome them. And the last pair for this session is going to be euro dollar. Now, I talked about euro dollar this morning, and basically what I was telling you guys that in a way keep your eyes on this 1.1183 zone, so which in a way got perfectly tested, from which the pair rebounded nicely to the upside and is now kind of pointing higher. So for now, this scenario that I've talked about this morning is working out nicely. This level here acted as a very nice area of support around the 1.1183 zone. So again, everything's kind of, like I said, everything's kind of leaning more towards the upside. We will continue aiming for the 1.1231 zone. And just to show you what that level was here in the past, that's basically the high of the 12th of August. Now, slightly above that, we do have the highest point of August, and that's around the 1.1250 territory. So good levels to watch here. For those who are more on the cautious side, what you could do is just wait for a clear break above the high of yesterday. Sorry, the high of today. I do apologize. The high of today near the 1.1211, and if we do get a push above this, this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and yep, these levels could be played out nicely. In terms of the downside, from the very short-term perspective, now I talked about this level this morning, from which we could consider the downside. Yes, still remains the same idea. We are keeping an eye on this 1.1110 zone, but for those who like to look at this from the short-term perspective, what you could do here is keep an eye on the 1.1175 mark. Now, if we do get a drop below this, then in a way there is a possibility maybe for a deeper slide. The only problem here is keep your eyes on the 21 EMA on the 4-hour chart, which could in a way provide some support here for the rate. But if that fails to withhold, and if we see the rate sliding further below the 1.1145 zone, then yes, I mean, we will probably be testing this upside support line, the short-term tentative upside support line taken from the low of the 29th of November, and then we'll take it from there, see what it wants to do after. But again, for now, guys, yes, it's everything's kind of leaning more towards the upside, but for those who are more on the cautious side, you could wait for a push above the 1.1211 zone, but if this suddenly starts dropping back below the 1.1175, then well, we will be very careful, as this could lead towards a possible retest of this short-term tentative upside support line. So keep your eyes on that one. Okay, guys, I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching it till the end. If you want to join me tomorrow morning, yes, we will have the videos tomorrow, the espresso and the tea time. So you will see how the market has performed. Don't get me wrong. Tomorrow we'll have an early close, but still it will be quite interesting to see how the market will end the year. So that's why, guys, join in tomorrow morning at my Traders Espresso at 7 o'clock GMT time, and then, like I said, we'll have a look at some of these instruments and maybe some other ones. So yes, I hope you have a wonderful evening, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.